Hi, I'm Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have attorney Joey McCutchen joining us. Joey is a local attorney, and he recently filed a suit against the Fayetteville Public School District regarding a FOIA request that went allegedly unanswered from the district. Joey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Just catch us up with what is happening with this suit. There may be some people who are not familiar with it. Why was this suit filed in the first place?
Well, I think I'll just start off with an overall comment that transparency is critical to our republic, and in today's environment, where people I'll start at the top all the way down. There's a lot happening by government that we need to shed light on, and so we have been in battles in Fort Smith. We've been in battles in this one in Fayetteville, and had to file this lawsuit. You know, we're forced to file this lawsuit because when Fort Smith or the Fayetteville School District seems to think that we work for them and that they don't work for us. You know, my client, Ila Campbell, a Fayetteville resident, had tried to do this on her own. And I think, if truth be told, probably many people have gone down this same route and just given up. Didn't get a response to her FOIA request, and had to do a second FOIA request when we got involved.
You know, I was looking over that second FOIA request that you are mentioning, and I was taken aback by a lot of the answers from the district, and it was if the district just copied and pasted their answer. And I'm just going to read off one of the answers. You know, it said, with respect to your request for records under this item, the district has reviewed your request and determined that it is not sufficiently specific to enable the custodian of the records to locate with reasonable effort. And then it says, please consider narrowing this request to include only the district leadership team. What do you think about that?
I think it's a clear violation of FOIA when government, whether it's the Fayetteville Public School System or any other government, thinks that they can be arrogant enough to just thumb their nose at what the law is, what the clear law is. And as you said, I'm looking at the FOIA request too. It's not sufficiently specific enough to enable the custodian of records to locate the records. I mean, it was abundantly clear what Ms. Campbell was seeking. And then, you know, just because a record request is broad, doesn't, they spend the time and all the time when I'm filing FOIA requests and I have clients, if they ask, hey, look, we need more time, we accommodate that request. But that wasn't the request here. They want to say it's not specific enough, and it was tailored very specifically. And the proof in the pudding is, after we filed this lawsuit, they produced 8,000 pages of documents relating to critical race theory. Call it what you want. A duck's a duck. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. They want to say we critical race theory is not an identified teaching instrument in our school. Well, call it equity, call it diversity, call it inclusion, call it what you want. But it's not teaching our children how to read, write, and do arithmetic.
What does that tell you when they did not respond to that FOIA? And then after the suit was filed, they're like, okay, you know, here are all of these documents now, like you said, over 8,000 documents. What does that tell you about the transparency of the Fayetteville School District.
It tells me, it always tells me when we play these games. I just had a hearing on a FOIA request I made in Fort Smith, and the court had to make that ruling. It tells me they've got something to hide. You know, they want to hide behind, oh, it's too broad. It's not specific enough. Well, it may be broad, but it's broad for a reason, because they've been, over the last couple of 3 or 4 or 5 years, have been busily working on these programs. And I wasn't able to find the 5-year equity plan on the district website, where citizens can see and transparency and light of day and all those good things. So it tells me when someone doesn't answer a FOIA request that they're trying to hide something.
Well, and I think what I'm seeing with this FOIA request and what we're seeing all across the nation right now is we are seeing parents fighting back to these equity plans, these competency plans, these DEI plans, and they are saying, we don't want these in our school districts. We don't want these in our kids' classrooms. This is divisive. This is divisive teaching. This is racist teaching. And I think that, you know, the bigger picture here is, you know, with the FOIA request is unearthing what is in our school district right now and bringing that to light.
That's right. And I think that parents have to get engaged. And I have admired the parents that I've met in the Fayetteville Public School System who have organized and are going to wage this fight. It's a fight that we've got to have. You know, this is nothing more than divisive teaching. It's what, call it identity politics, call it coercive diversity, call it what you want, but it's divisive. And it's branding folks by way of race. And you can't have that in a democratic society. And this battle is worth fighting on a local level. It's worth fighting on a state level, and it's worth fighting on a national level. And we've got to do that. You know, critical race theory, you know, this idea of I'm oppressed, you're the oppressor, you know, dominant versus marginalized. This is indoctrination. You know, you've talked about this 5-year equity plan. I mean, it's pure indoctrination. You know, you start just the various levels, and it's a well organized from top to bottom, and as they say in some of their emails, from bottom to top. And right. You know, they talk about using the Ideals Institute at the U of A. They want to use their P3 approach to what they call transformational change. And that's exactly what they're doing in the Fayetteville school system, transformational change. And they've been at it for several years now, probably the last 2 within the district. And it's a well organized machine, but it's indoctrination. I mean, they're indoctrinating. I mean, they're testing administrators. They're doing these. Let me get the name of it. They're doing what they call IDI, the Intercultural Development Inventory on administrators, and they're deep. The Ideals Institute is debriefing. You know, they're creating equity champions in the district and having them sign agreements that it's amazing what's happening. If we spend as much time on educating our children as we are on trying to create division. Hey, I think it's great that we talk about all our history. We need to learn from our history. We need to learn from slavery. It was an abomination. And but to make slavery the cause of every issue, whether it's a traffic jam or whether it's a spreadsheet, is wrong. And
Right.
and you know, it all sounds, if you just kind of read their generic, it all sounds like apple pie, but the devil's in the details.
Yes. So what will be the next step for this suit?
Yeah, we're waiting on a judge assignment. At least 2 judges have recused. Don't know the reasons why they've recused. So we're going to get it. We ought to have another judge in the next day or so. And we want an immediate hearing. They refuse to accept the fact that they violated FOIA. We think it's a clear violation of FOIA. And we're prepared to take that battle to the circuit court. And if necessary, we'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court. My guess is that this isn't the first rodeo with the Fayetteville school system. My guess is that, as you said, they seem to have cut and paste this language. I'm sure it's been used a time or two.
Well, anything else that you want to add?
No, I just think again, I think to reiterate, you can't overemphasize the importance of school board members. Tip O'Neill used to say all politics are local. We have got to hold our school board accountable, because when you start reading the emails, and I'm not sure there haven't been a slew of secret meetings that are in violation of FOIA also among these school board members. I see 2 or 3 of them having these little chats on their emails, talking about, hey, we're going to, in coordination with what the district's doing with their equity plan, we've been forming a resolution to have an equity policy, and we want to get in touch with the Ideals Institute. Can you connect us with the Ideals Institute? This stuff needs to be happening on top of the table in the full light of day, and not in secret email chats.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we should make sure that everyone is held accountable.
That's right. That's right. And this should all take place in public meetings. It needs to be exposed for what it is. You know, you only have to look 2 days ago with the major teachers unions saying that calling the folks involved in this, I think they called them culture warriors or cancel warriors. I mean, what?
I thought none of this was taught in the schools. Isn't that what we've been told over and over?
Yeah, we have. And you know, they want to try to, obviously they're not going to put a bunch of inflammatory words. They're going to stay away from using the words critical race theory. They're going to stay away from the 1619 project. At least I hope they do, because I mean, now we have books and essays written on the 1619 New York Times essays, which are just not truthful, which we've got to fight back. But that will seep, if they're not held accountable, all of that will seep into our public school system very quickly, like it has in Fayetteville. I think the good point is Fayetteville started the pilot program with the True Initiative. They were the first involved. You know, they got a $200,000 grant. And we know that anytime you get grant money, there's strings attached. And so they're going to fight very hard on this. And they talk about it in their emails. They talk about in the documents that you've got to fight, you know, in essence, you've got to fight back. You're going to get public criticism. You know, they're trying to swift boat that issue. And yeah, they need to be held accountable from top to bottom.
Well, I thank you for taking up this fight. We will follow this very closely and have you back on very soon.
Good. I've been hearing from other school districts, and I think the work that Fayetteville local parents and concerned citizens are doing will have an effect on every school district across Arkansas, because it won't stop in Fayetteville. We're going to do a FOIA request and another FOIA request in Fort Smith. That's an issue we haven't necessarily talked on, but I found through a FOIA request several months back that Fort Smith is going down this road, and they were having their little committees meet without public notice, and so we've got to expose this, and FOIA
Right,
is the way to do it.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe. For Conduit News, I'm Jenny Lauren Dowden. We'll see you next time.